Okay, folks, buckle up because this is a long one, but what I am about to tell you is batshit crazy. Last week, the Heritage Foundation released a report called the 2024 Transition Integrity Project, which is essentially a compilation of totally made-up pretend scenarios in which the Biden administration tries to resist turning power over to Orangina Pervilicious Felonia Schlumper McPhee if Schlumper wins the 2024 election. It's literally a series of detailed fantasies dreamed up by men who clearly have far too much time on their hands in an effort to sow doubt in the 2024 election. Nowhere in the report is any mention of the J6 insurrection or all the bogus big lie claims that were shot down in court. This is a baby man's book of imagined events that would justify their tantrums over losing the race. And boy, they have some pretty twisted imaginations. The whole report is based on a whole bunch of role play. These schneedles assembled 50 people, including a former U.S. senator, congressional staff, campaign consultants, journalists, experienced attorneys, military officers, law enforcement personnel, and academics to play pretend. The report says individuals who accepted the invitation to participate were assigned one of the following roles. Blue cell, Biden administration, the Democratic National Committee, congressional Democrats, intelligence community, Department of Justice, mainstream media, big tech, social media, internet companies, TikTok, Black Lives Matter, Antifa, pro-Hamas, and urban law enforcement. Red cell, Republican National Committee, congressional Republicans, Republican Lawyers Association, conservative media, evangelicals, X and True Social, Project 2025, and local sheriffs. White cell, China, Russia, Mexico/Central America, cartels, appeals courts, Supreme Court of the United States, U.S. military, lower courts in swing states, and swing state governors. The report sets up the primary pickle by positing that the Biden administration, i.e. the blue team, faced with dimming prospects for victory, was sorely tempted to deploy lawfare to retain power. Meanwhile, the foreign adversaries on the white team saw the situation as an opportunity to divide America internally while taking aggressive actions abroad. Well, the Heritage Foundation is not one for brevity, so the report is long-winded, full of bravado, and packed with the kinds of ideas that would come from wannabes of all sorts. Let's walk through a couple of the make-believe scenarios. Okay, get a load of this one. A unit of 19 Hamas-aligned terrorists, some of whom reportedly entered the U.S. illegally at the southern border, broke into a well-known Jewish celebrity's home and held her hostage. Widespread cell phone outages and internet blackouts were reported in some areas, and a few water systems were contaminated. U.S. intelligence cited some evidence that these events were tied to Chinese and Russian cyber terrorism. The FBI suspended 18 suspected whistleblowers from their ranks. Public opposition to the plan to accept Palestinian refugees prompted an announcement that the 25,000 newcomers would be rigorously vetted before they were welcomed to America and sent to Michigan, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. Meanwhile, Iran conducted an underground test of a nuclear device with a destructive force about 20% greater than the bomb dropped on Hiroshima. I know, it's batshit cray-cray. Listen to this one. On election night, mainstream media outlets called Ohio for Biden, but it quickly became apparent those numbers were the product of corrupted data on voting machines, and Ohio was in the Trump column by morning. When the dust cleared, Trump seemingly had enough electoral college votes to win, with 3 states still too close to call: Arizona, Michigan, and Wisconsin. The Biden camp and their allies, recognizing that sweeping all 3 states would not be enough to win, also fixed their attention on Virginia, where the race was called for Trump, but with a margin of victory that was only around 7,000 votes. Democrats filed suit to overturn those results, claiming civil rights violations. If Democrats could take Arizona, Michigan, and Wisconsin and flip Virginia via legal maneuvering, Biden would claim victory. Adding to the turmoil, Merrick Garland's Department of Justice arrested Donald Trump on November 7th at Mar-a-Lago, charging him with mishandling classified documents and with insurrection due to the events on January 6, 2021. Trump agreed to be held under house arrest at Trump Tower in New York City. Maintaining internet access, he held online rallies that attracted millions of live viewers from across the country. Public unrest increased as a Trump victory looked more likely, and well-organized attacks by leftist Democratic terrorists were carried out against the homes of Supreme Court Justices Clarence Thomas and Brett Kavanaugh. Both homes were breached, and there were multiple injuries. Attackers also set fire to Thomas's home. Neither justice nor any family members were home at the time. Meanwhile, the U.S. intelligence community leaked a memo asserting that associates of Trump were working clandestinely with China's Ministry of State Security. Yeah. Now, we're not sure if everyone got participation trophies or if the red team ended up in a fistfight with the blue team at Hooters after the play date, but I think we can assume the players all went away with memories that will last a lifetime. Yeah. Well, Transition Project role players, have a day.